Hi, this is Taimak, aka Bruce Leroy. Come to Permanently Geek. You'll get the glow. So, okay, guys, we're going to start the movie in a second. I just want to say thank you so much for having me here in Cleveland. Enjoy yourself. I'll see you for the Q&A afterwards. I'll be outside if you need more.
Welcome everybody to The Last Dragon. We're seeing this movie in the movie theater. Holy shit, that's awesome, right? We are Permanently Geek. We're a YouTube startup actually in the Cleveland area. If you look us up, Permanently Geek Official on YouTube. I'm like the biggest fan of this movie. Like if I could go back in time to 5-year-old Randy and be like, hey Randy, see that guy catching a bullet with his teeth? You're gonna meet that guy. I would have been like, holy, what? Time travel's a thing? And I get to meet Taimak. But I'm Randy, this is Michael and Dana. And Michael?
So about a month and a half ago, one of the things that we do on our Permanently Geek channel is we do commentaries on films. And so about a month and a half ago, we did a commentary on this film, and when we saw that it was coming to the Capitol, like we have to be involved in this somehow. So we are so excited to be here presenting this movie to you here tonight. And we're thrilled to be seeing it up on the big screen. It's going to be great.
And if you didn't already know, stick around after the film. Taimak will be doing a Q&A. So if the VIP session was a little frantic, or you didn't get your question in, or you didn't do the VIP package, stick around afterward. He'll be answering some questions. Who here's a fan of Taimak? People excited about that? Yeah. All right, so he'll be sticking around for questions afterward, and now we get to watch the movie.
All right, Sho-Nuff. Yeah, just move on up. Come on.
Yeah,
Don't be shy.
We're all friends here.
We all have the glow now. We saw the
We all
movie.
got the glow. All of us.
Quick question, I remember when the movie came out, the gentleman Sho-Nuff actually had like a stunt double that looked amazingly like him.
Yeah, he's gone now, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they were next to each other. Was like, wow, they look just like, one another. So my question is, did you have a stunt double?
Yeah, there was some falls in there that were really bad, but yeah.
So that wasn't you.
Exactly.
Any other questions?
What about with the ninja outfit? Was that you right there?
That was actually, part of it was me, part of it was another character because I tore my shoulder and injured it. Yeah.
The question back there?
Yeah.
You studied martial arts. Is there any other martial arts that you studied other than BJJ? And why?
No, I didn't study BJJ. I studied Ramen Cleave System. It was a mixed style, karate. Oh, I'm sorry. You said BJJ. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Bruce Lee's shot, JKD. JKD, BJJ, yeah. I'm sorry. Finish your question.
That you studied BJJ, correct?
Yeah.
What other ones did you study, and why did you continue to study them?
Yeah, well, I started with karate, ended up going into Aikido, but I was looking for something more similar to Bruce Lee, because when I was a kid, Bruce Lee was doing a lot of kicks, so I ended up doing Taekwondo for a very long time. I became a kickboxing champion. Then I moved on to, what was I doing? It was with Van Cleef for a while. And then I did some Shaolin with a Shaolin monk. And that was the last other style I was doing other than now BJJ. Yeah. And why? You asked why? Oh, I just enjoy all aspects of the training. And that's really what it is.
How you doing, aspiring actor? Thank you for the child memory again, man.
Yeah.
Just want to ask, what helped you to prepare for this role?
Going to movie theater when I was a kid, I was religiously watching martial arts films, and I was a fan of Bruce Lee and the Shaw Brothers, and I would watch them religiously, And I think that was the best preparation because the character, came from that type of environment. He was like that kind of character. I think that would be the most, other than being an actual martial artist.
How did you get money?
We got one in the back.
So did you ever find the moves?
You never know, buddy.
Stand up, Tom.
Stand up.
Were you and Vanity really girlfriend and boyfriend?
What do you know about that? Read the book.
Right here?
Yeah. What other movies have you been in since this project?
You know, I ended up doing some parts in other people's films, and then I was caught up in Hollywood. But you got to read the book because it's going to explain a lot of detail. But I ended up doing more theater than anything else. You know, and coming back to New York, and you know. But you'll see. You'll see.
Okay. And could I convince you to do an interview for voiceradio.com, which is an internet radio show?
Email the road manager,
Okay.
Jenna. Get the information, email everything to
Okay,
them, and she'll.
thank you, great.
I appreciate it.
And thank you to Geeks.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
You've been standing again for a bit, so we'll take a second
I'm
question.
just really curious, how did you actually get the part? Was it because you were in New York or?
Yeah,
some
yeah.
great place?
I'll give you the short, but like I said, obviously I wrote the autobiography to give you a lot of detail. But I was in New York, and when I found out about it, I went and, long story short, I ended up getting an audition, but it wasn't what I thought it would be. And I didn't get the part, and they were giving it to somebody else, but I worked hard on it, even though I was really upset that I didn't get the part. And when I went back to try again, I did so good, they fired the guy and they didn't have him sign. You know?
Very cool,
Yeah.
thank you.
But you'll see more detail about that.
I'm gonna read it.
Hey, I was born in 1992, and I seen this movie kind of early on, and I also seen A Different World early on,
Right.
and I was like, my mom who couldn't be here today, she really loved you in Last Dragon, and when I seen you in A Different World, I was like, wait a minute, is that the same guy? And I was like, because you played such a different kind of person in that episode of A Different World that you were in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, and I was like,
I don't know, I blanked out.
but yeah, you were such,
Yeah, well, those
a
objectives.
nice
That was
guy
my
in
objective.
this,
Yeah.
And then in A Different World, you were so
Jerk.
scary to me. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I definitely remember you from that. Like, so if I have a question, like, if like, do you remember if it felt kind of weird playing that part in A Different World versus like playing such a nice guy? in
Yeah, well, the
Last
thing
Dragon?
is, you know, nobody is perfect. Nobody's a complete saint, you know? So, as an actor, you know, I specifically did that role to give a different look at what I can do.
Exactly, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, as an actor, basically, there are parts of you that are like the character, and there's parts of you that aren't like the character. I'm not a date rapist. I would never, I would never do that. But the whole point of the episode was because a lot of colleges had these kids messing with these girls and doing the wrong thing, so it wanted to give a message through that episode. So that's why I did it, and you know, it was good.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to say I loved you ever since I seen that contrast that you can do. So it make me feel
Yeah, you didn't take it as reality.
Yeah, I was like, wait, is that really him? Because
I ain't choosing my sister.
He's really scary in this thing.
Right.
I saw an episode of WMAC Masters with you.
Right.
Were you in more than one, or?
No, I think I did one or two. I don't remember if it was two or one, but yeah. That was a brief thing, but yeah.
Thanks again for having us. I moved to our house when I was like 6 years old. My brother was 9 years younger than me, and it was like my favorite by the time I was, you know,
Yeah.
or something. But I just want to ask, did you keep in touch with other people from the cast after the movie?
Yeah, as you know, unfortunately, quite a few of them have passed, but periodically we'd be in touch. It was pre-internet, so it wasn't the same type of communication,
Was anybody particularly close with?
I don't want to say too much about that. I'd rather you get a lot of that from the book. But we were all close in our different ways, but we were all young, So, and I was the youngest, besides Leo, So it was an interesting dynamic, but we were all close.
Thank
You have a question back there? No, she's.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to know how old were you when you did the last dragon?
I was 19 going on 20, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Favorite scene or favorite part?
Well, you know, of course, working with the late Denise Matthews. But other than that, I'd say the Chinese guys, they were cracking me up throughout the whole scene. Yeah, they were just, of course, Sho-Nuff, but the Chinese guys were just consistently staying in character and doing the craziest thing, And I write about that in the book too.
That's right.
Were you the one catching the Buddha in the teeth?
Yeah, but you can't do that at home though.
When does this new movie you're in come out?
That's an independent that I did a smaller role in, but it's called Into the Fist, and they're finishing editing it this summer, so it's at some point this year. Just look at Enter the Fist. Yeah, it's a comedy, but it's outrageous. It's got a lot of crazy things in there. Yeah.
Show of hands. How many people want to see a sequel to this movie?
Yeah, the thing about that, which I did purposely, is I wrote I co-wrote a treatment, which is a part of a film, or a screenplay. So you'll see about 10 pages or so of a follow-up to The Last Dragon at the end of the book. So if you want to read that right away, just go to the end of the book. It's called Guardians of the Glow, and you could read about that. And then I would go to Facebook.com/Taimak book, and I'll respond there about the book and things from the book. But I'm just in communication with Kerry Gordy, who owns part of the rights to The Last Dragon, because I just didn't think that was smart to try to remake the movie. I thought it would make more sense to try to do something that had somewhat of a sequel feeling, but somewhat of a reboot, that had its own, it gave you a sense of The Last Dragon, but it did its own thing, on its own merits, rather than trying to copy it.
How much?
You first, and then you.
How much of the movie was structured, and how much was kind of improvised on the spot?
Well, the Chinese guy scene was completely improvised because we stopped shooting in the middle of it because Barry Gordy and Michael Schultz didn't think that it was working. They had it a different way. And then they came up with this whole thing with the hopscotch and everything else, and that whole thing was improvised. Yeah. Me falling over after the scene with Vanity, when the clocks chimed, the clocks show, and I fall, that was improvised. The other thing was when I was in the car with her, and I said, "Isn't it kind of hot in here, Miss Charles?" That's improvised. It's a number of things. Yeah.
What part or parts in the movie was you more excited to do? Like you was so, it was a part of the movie or part of the movie that you were just hyped to do and you couldn't wait for.
Well, one of the things that was frustrating for me is I was, they were having me, because I never did a movie before, so they were having me focus on all the scenes, but I was always wanting to do these outrageous martial arts scenes, and they didn't really want that, so that was a frustration for me. They just wanted they weren't so focused on martial arts. Even though the martial arts stuff was fun and good, I was already, I grew up watching those Shaw Brothers movies, which they had a fight scene going on for an hour. So I wanted one of those. In fact, the beginning segment, me doing martial arts, I told them to do that. I wanted to do that because that's what I saw in every Shaw Brothers movies. They would start out with a segment where the star would be doing martial arts, and that I convinced them to do that.
So that's what I was wondering. The techniques that you use, I know, Ron Van Cleef and it was a Honey Red Scene and choreographed, but did you have any of your own techniques, and also that jump spinning back kick, was you already doing it before the film, or did they improvise? Did they teach you?
No, I'm doing all that stuff. All that stuff was easy. All that stuff we did. Like I said, I wanted to do much more, but they weren't. Yeah, they weren't. That was. I was young, and that was the frustration. I wanted to get.
Because you actually, a lot of your moves look specifically like Van Cleef. That's something that I picked up on. So I just was wondering.
Yeah, sure.
In the back?
Was Sho-Nuff an actual martial artist too?
Sorry, I put this on vibrate. Call you back. I'll call you back. Sorry about that. I'll call you back. I thought I put it on mute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Say that again.
Was Sho-Nuff an actual martial artist also?
You know, he wasn't. He was an athlete that did a little martial arts, and basically all of us helped him along. You know, but he, you know, you'll see in the book where I write about that he always would have keep a little distance from me because he thought that we were getting too friendly. You know, it was funny because every time he walk in, I'd be like, I'd really crack up. You know, he was really funny, really funny.
Back there.
Did you use martial arts?
What was that?
Did you use martial arts?
Did I use martial arts?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Did I use martial arts?
Yes.
I can say different.
What's martial arts?
Basic, I don't know.
Martial arts is self-defense, combat techniques, meditation, doing well in school, being a leader, being courageous, being able to speak up when you have something to offer, right? Did I do that?
Being respectful.
You gotta watch the movie another 100 times. Daddy, make him watch the movie another 100 times.
What about the girl that smacked you when y'all was in the dojo? Did she have martial arts training? She wish she did.
Felt like she did. They had some.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started martial arts?
How old was I? I was very young. I was about 6 years old. Yeah. But then we stopped and I started again when I was like 12. Yeah.
All right, we can only take a couple more questions, so I think 2 more. So who else has a question for Taimak? Over there?
Was it at the part where a movie got you excited?
Oh, I was very excited. Yeah, it's through the roof. Yeah.
Last question?
Theater or film, your favorite?
Huh?
Performing theater or film as an actor?
I like all of it. I really do. I like all of it. It's very different than theater and television or film is extremely different. Theater is like this, and and you have to project, and it depends how many audience. I've done theater to 3,000, 4,000 people, and then I've done theater to like 20 people. So you get microphones when you're dealing with a huge audience, so you don't have to worry about that. But against an audience like this, you don't have a microphone. You're just projecting, and a lot of times in the theater, you're doing a scene that's a little more sentimental. The tendency as a person is to get more quiet, so the people in the back never hear that. So you have to train to be sentimental, but to still be able to project your voice. Where in film or TV, you have to minimize your movements because in film and TV, the camera is like right up on your face. So in theater, you have to make your movements bigger because people back there, they have to see what you're expressing. So it's very different, but it's an art form, and I like it a lot.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I got one question. You guys, let me know whatever you guys can do, or how you guys can be more involved in my career. Otherwise, other than social media, for example, you can go to Instagram /IamTaimak, Facebook. Right now, there's a glitch on my fan page. I can't get in my fan page, so it's been months. And Facebook's like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I said, what do you don't know what to tell me? How am I going to get in on this? So that's why I started the book page, because it's also about the book. So it's facebook.com /Taimak book. I just want you guys to be more involved in the process, and I want to keep you informed, and you can also keep me informed. Like today, it was a smaller audience. We took a test with doing a weekday. So weekdays not as good as weekends have been very crowded, And I'm really happy that you guys showed up regardless. But it was just, we'll probably do weekends more often. But yeah,
later.
Huh?
And later, 6 o'clock is early.
I know that's what we were talking about. Yeah, that's one of the things, right, Jen? It's like, would you guys say that that's another factor on a weekday?
The thing about the weekday is kids with the school, so.
Yeah, kids, yeah.
So a lot of kids
But
really want to see it.
I still showed up. We're still looking at maybe doing it in further away, south, Columbus? Yeah.
We Columbus.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And and more populated areas, but anyway.
All right.
Thank you so
Another
much
big
for
hand
showing up.
for Taimak.
If anybody wants any more, anything out there, I'll be out there a little while for you guys. And
Read the book.
Thank
If
you.
you like the book, write a review on Amazon.
Seriously.